Marcie, how you doing, mommy?
A family that politically analyzes in the morning together. What was that saying?
Yes.
Has a headache
well,
together.
A family who analyzes together stays together.
No, they have a headache together.
Together.
They share a headache.
What are your thoughts?
It was one of those very unnecessary, you know, if you've been playing hide and seek on your own, and then you suddenly come out of hiding, and then you go, I'm here, and no one was looking for you. That's how Jonathan's interview felt like. This is a guy who is in hiding, comes out of hiding. There's no impact to anything that he said there. There's nothing Jonathan Moyo told us on Hard Talk that we don't talk about anyway. We can't get an unconstitutional person coming to preach about constitutionalism just because he happens to be on the losing side of the game. That doesn't make sense. His constitutionalism is selective. What was interesting to me, more than any of the rubbish he said, which is rubbish we already know, coup not coup is a discussion all Zimbabweans share, but it was the delusion of that man. His reality and our reality are so removed from each other. When Jonathan Moyo talks about the Zimbabwean people and our love for grace, you think, okay, which tree were you sitting on for?
We found that hilarious.
That was fun.
So for me, and then when he's asked about his lavish lifestyle, and he's genuinely, you know, shocked, and he's like, I have a modest lifestyle. And so when
imagine
people say,
that,
I have a
imagine that.
He talks about not stealing anything. I've worked so hard. The house I own. And the drivel about how many of them were in the house when the house was raided, unnecessary. We don't care. We don't care.
Thanks for the police. We're looking for a statement.
And also, George Charamba then gave us some more light into that situation.
Bye, Vicky. I don't know that, Vicky, I guess.
So George Charamba gave us.
But that is interesting.
George Charamba is like, this nigga lying. He wasn't with his family. His family ran to the roofs. And one of the big problems we had when we were not negotiating with Mugabe was that we had to deal with Jonathan Moyo's huge family in the house with us. I'm like, oh my God, bro, somebody is lying.
But the thing is, like, if we're to go to the gist of what affects us as Zimbabweans, not his anger and all, those are his issues to deal with. I mean, he'll have to deal with his own post-traumatic stress disorder. That's his business to deal with. We've got our own. So we'll take from the interview the stuff that actually affects us as Zimbabweans, as the electorate. And when you go through it, like Sheikh Bey is saying, there are some truths that we have to start learning to accept. We have to accept that an unconstitutional thing happened to meet the needs, the ends of what we wanted. But we cannot carry on in the delusion of saying that this is now justified. We have to be woke to the idea that what we agreed to fundamentally has flaws that can affect how our democracy henceforth moves on like. Because if we are all deluded in the fact that we can constantly in our democracy do unconstitutional things, then we have to accept that the next time our leaders do an unconstitutional thing, any justification should be okay. So as a people, we now need to say, we draw a line.
Hold on, Marcie. You and Chef Bay drink from the same Kool-Aid box, but I want to understand one thing. If Mugabe was allowed to perform, if he was allowed to perform all his functions as president, he was allowed to enjoy his motorcade. He was allowed to give speech. I think he went to he was still chancellor of the universities, still kept the students, and then resigned. What was unconstitutional there?
But what you failed to want, this is ridiculous. Actually, coming from you, Kuda. What do you actually think?
I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm playing devil's advocate.
Okay, let's go through it. What do you consider a military coup to be? to have lovey-dovey things that will have the president incriminate himself. No. So what we know happened is Robert Mugabe could have played what he was asked to play. Just because you saw him performing an action does not actually mean the action you saw him perform was what he wanted to perform.
What?
It was to satisfy the coup that is not
He said out of his own mouth.
It doesn't matter whose mouth. He could have said it out of Gracie's mouth. It is a military coup.
Hold on, guys. Hold on now, Chef, they will know more than you, but most of you will know where I was around that time when the speech was done by Mugabe. Do you guys know that was the wrong speech he read? And do you know that he read the speech that he wanted?
We are not
So I want you guys to understand that man was fully in charge at that point.
I'm sorry to say.
I want you to remember where I was at the time. Okay.
No. You cannot dismiss the fact that on such a day in our history, a military took over all state apparatus and declared themselves in charge, when our constitution clearly says one man and one man alone can sanction that action. So you can't be selective about what you consider a coup to be.
No, but the problem was that
we agree we are okay.
The problem was actually under duress.
We agree and we're okay, but it's
okay.
We are okay.
Let's move on.
We've pinned the link. We've pinned the link for the Capital podcast where George Charamba is making responses. They are lazy responses that George Charamba makes, but they are very critical things that affect our future that we must take note of in there.
Continue, Marcie.
Yes, Marcie.
But then, again, talking about the George Charamba ramblings, what we must not do as citizens is to construct our reality based on statements of others, because we start to work around their agenda. What we know as sane individuals is that democracy is neither given to us on a platter. It is not constructed for us to make a selection from. We create our own democracy. So it doesn't matter what George Charamba says, the elections are a month or two behind or ahead. What as citizens we should be doing right now, with or without George Charamba's say so, is we should be constructing our reality. Our reality needs democracy. How are we as citizens been participating in creating the options that will create the democratic state that we seek? So whether the elections happened 2 months earlier, we were not prepared anyway, because as citizens, we had not taken our citizens' role properly. George Charamba has not told us anything that would bring us back where we were before. We were not prepared, because we've been sitting listening at statements and constructing our democratic state based on the ideas and statements of others. We should pursue democracy based on the principles of democracy. Right now, it is not up to the incumbent to start creating for us an alternative for our democracy. What Emerson Mnangagwa is doing is not illegal, neither is it not democratic. He has carried on creating a choice for us, which is ZANU-PF. It is up to us to create for him alternatives that will challenge him. It is not for him to open the ground for us to create democracy. So let's get on the ground, not wait for George Charamba or ZANU-PF to sanction when we start creating our democratic space in our country. Right now is for us, Marcie, not Emerson Mnangagwa.
2018 is coming. 2018 is coming. Who do you think is going to win the election, or who are you voting for, if you don't mind telling us? At the current
I will tell you who I think will win the election based on what elections are won on. Elections are won on a good ground campaign. It is based on feeling the citizens' agenda and emotions and then giving them an option. The only person right now who has a credible chance of winning the election is ZANU-PF, because it is the only party that has actively campaigned and given people what it wants. So without an alternative, it is ridiculous to imagine any other alternative on that ballot box having a chance to win, because only ZANU-PF has participated in the actions you are supposed to do to win an election. Unless you know any other alternative that has done that, I don't see why anybody else. There isn't. So legitimately...
MDC is reforming. They are speaking about a Nelson Chamisa Presidium 2018.
Okay, let's not about Chinese whispers. Let us talk about what has actually happened. Has MDC reformed?
Okay.
Has it reformed? If it hasn't, you cannot use a Chinese whisper based on how an election will work. But what we know is ZANU-PF has reformed, ZANU-PF has created a manifesto, ZANU-PF has campaigned. So based on that is what the people who will go and vote will vote on. If I was in Zimbabwe right now, I will be concentrating on who I put on a regional level, on my local level, because that is the only effect I actually have an alternative for. I can create a councillor between now and come election. I can create an MP between now and election. What I cannot, because I've run out of time to do, is create a president. But the problem with Zimbabwean people is they excuse themselves from the whole process of democracy. The process of democracy has many wheels out of this train. If you cannot fix the one head wheel, you fix the whole entire chain of the train's wheels. We have councillors, we have local MPs that we need to get into power. We need to create the democracy we seek. Emerson Mnangagwa does not represent the whole entire governance system of Zimbabwe. Neither does ZANU-PF. Without an opposition critically arguing in parliament with ZANU-PF, you have no democracy. So create the democracy, whether you win or you lose. Make sure you get those people in the corridors of power so that we can fight for democracy. Right now we're playing. We're not doing anything.
Marcie, you and I drink from the same Kool-Aid. We need to get other people to be talking. Thank you. I think everyone agrees with you. I always love talking to you because you and I share the same ideas.
So let me read some comments. Let me read some comments. That's Hansina Junior Gong. Junior Gong is a failed musician somewhere in this country. Somewhere he's sitting in England. He's sitting in England doing BBC graphs or something. Yeah. He says, Tirimba Vatese. Thank you, Junior Gong. Hopefully your next single doesn't bomb as bad as your last 20. You useless music. Stop singing, you're useless.
Okay,
my mother, Mary Ndoro, this is my actual aunt, says, you are blocking people who want to tell the truth. Where am I blocking them? The truth, okay. My mother, I would love you to call in. I would love to talk to you. I do know that your asylum papers came through Kuda, and you can now tell the truth. You don't have to keep pretending to be savage. I know even though you were not persecuted by any government. But I love you still, ma'am. Let's
check out the people.
Well done, Marcie. Simba, not all of the great campaign wins. Let's not underestimate the will of the people. Okay? Get a job. Udara. Undifonere Kuda. All right, so I apologize. Somebody's calling me. Right. I'll call you, my mother. I will call you, but then you're not on this. So Sarah Matthews wants to join. Let's add Sarah Matthews. Who else are we adding? In our queue, we've got 4 people in the queue. We have Sarah Matthews, we have Ben Bright, we have Prissy, and we have Dean. We have my man D.
Oh, it's not the same one. You're thirsty woman.
Is it?
No, it's not the same.
Not the same. Not the same. What do you mean, thirsty woman?
You had a thirsty woman call you yesterday.
I have a lot of thirsty women who call me, baby.
Oh, please.
Please tell her not to call now. She's disrupting our live feed. We haven't forgiven her for the sanctions poster. That's my mother. Don't worry. We're trying to add somebody. They're not adding. So
okay. It's somebody else.
Ben Bright. Ben is going to give me ZANU-PF jokes. Let's talk to
Let's
my man.
Let's hear what he says. Is he your favorite ZANU-PF person?
I don't know. I maybe I'm mistaking Ben with somebody else. Ben, I'm adding you now. I have to be frank, boss. I love this. Hey, Mr. Ben, what up?
Hi, Kuda. Not too
Talk
much.
to me, sir. What do you think? Fantastic. Talk to me.
I wanted to get. I want to ask one question on this Jonathan business. What is on the BBC the interview? I watched the whole interview.
Yep.
And my question was, it was most like everything what these guys did was not constitutional, but these guys like he was in the part of these guys before, and everything that they were doing was not constitutional. They even so why is he talking about that now? Why when he ran away from the country?
Exactly.
Why is he talking about
for example,
why didn't he talk
about arresting Pastor Mawarire was not constitutional? Destroying people's homes was not constitutional. Even Lady Gaga's ascension was not constitutional. So I think, Pastor, we agree that he's a moron for being a hypocrite. However, what Chef Bay and them are saying that even a hypocrite has a point. She thinks that
if we want to maintain constitutionalism and rights, let's accord him his rights and then call him stupid. Because the concept of the man and the man can be held differently and separate.
So the man is stupid, but his content was accurate.
Is correct.
That's what Noma
No, but Chef B, the thing, Chef B, is this like, why is these people from ZANU-PF always have something to say when they were kicked out? Why? They always have to say, they were in the part of the parcel. They were in the group before. And why
it's happening in South Africa currently. It's natural.
Yeah, but
it's
why?
Natural. In the political space, you're sought after when you're now castigated. They'll never speak when they're in the gravy train, whether it's an MDC one or a ZANU-PF one. You only speak when you're out. We never heard Tendai Biti question anything about Changirai until he was shut down. Even the best of the best, they only talk after. So that's natural in the politics world. We can't say no, right? And also we can't then say we don't want to be hypocrites by calling another person a hypocrite. That's why I said let's also be fair to separate the man from his content. The moment we do that, we award him his rights. So that when again we go back and say we have the right to say and have opinions about him, let's allow him to have those opinions regardless of whether we like the opinions or not.
But the thing is, like, my question is like, why is he talking outside the country? Why didn't he talk when he was there in the country?
Oh no, he's gonna die. He's gonna die.
My brother Ben, thank you very much. I hope we answered all your questions. He gonna die.
Nigga gonna die. D, we're calling you now. Oh, Marvin.
Let's try Marvin. Let's try Marvin.
My chest.
I'm Zulu nigga. What up?
Hi, Marvin. Wapana UK lokutonora. Boys, doesn't take to my juicy. Man's not hot.
Man's not hot, man. We ain't got no coat on. Man's not hot, man.
You too. You too, yeah, need to stop it.
Talk to us, my brother. How are you feeling about John Toes? Are you feeling about John Toes? Are you feeling about John Toes' interview, homie?
Yeah, I think his wife
he walked out of the Wi-Fi zone. Marvin walked out of the Wi-Fi zone. I'll call you back, Marv. I'm gonna try to call you back. Come make another request. Let's call my man D up in the building.
Kuda, who's that girl with you?
That's my wifey, man.
Thank you, Timothy. Thank you.
What's happening?
Hey D, what up?
I'm good, man.
How you feeling, bro? Go ahead, Black.
Okay, bro. Huh?
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Man's not hot. Man's not hot. Ready?
I still got no coat on, Black.
Man's not hot. But listen. You said you've had interactions with General Chiwenga and he came to you as a very intelligent individual, right?
Yep.
He portrayed to you as a very intelligent individual, yes?
Yeah, did you not see how intelligent he was, though, with the coup?
No, I'm not disputing that.
Yeah, go on.
My question now to you is, would General Chiwenga ever get in a position of power and let it go?
Yes.
Okay. I think no. I think no.
I think yes.
I think no.
I think yes.
And everyone, power corrupts absolutely. Power corrupts absolutely.
Democracy in England doesn't even exist. They like to say it's democratic, but it's not even democratic if you really looking down into.
Oh, there's no democracy anywhere, nigga.
There's no democracy anywhere. There's illusions of democracy.
Even Trump is president by power and money.
They did not come. You,
do you know what these guys are doing? They are sweeping up. They're sweeping up. They can be there for one term, literally, and they've been grooming their bright minds. And ZANU-PF, they were so quiet. We're going to come out. They've cleaned up their chaff that was going amai kweze ana psychology. They're being arrested for stupid things. Absolutely, right? But then they're going to clean up for one term. And when they come back, you, my friend, who has been in opposition, if MDC does not get their acts right, you will go and vote ZANU-PF. Because there's one thing about us Zimbabweans, you know, farira, order, no end.
No, I know. I think
I was being figurative.
For them guys to come in and take power and let it go, I'll be very surprised. I mean, I know you guys believe it's gonna happen, but
she doesn't. She believes that.
I don't think it will. I don't think it will happen. Let's give it to their children.
Listen, my thoughts are these. I think that Chiwenga is unique. He's not like the others in the sense that he's gone in there already very, 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 very rich. He's very, very rich.
Would love that one beat the Adam. Would love it.
Chiwenga is very rich already. So I don't think he's there to steal any money. I think he's there to do some legacy shit. So I'm being optimistic. Now, I may be wrong. And my Bay definitely thinks I'm very, very, very wrong. But, you know, I think
General Chiwenga will only let go of power if he gets cancer. He will just leave very nicely and swiftly, but I don't think he'll let go. I don't want him to let go as yet.
If you guys believe these guys took power in order to give it up, then that's fair enough. Then I respect your thoughts on it.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but my base is right.
Like I said,
I'm saying maybe
not as yet. I don't want him to let go of it as yet. You know what I mean? But then if he goes for 2 terms,
but from
maybe you are wrong. Maybe
from history, these guys did not
let's shelve that until something happens.
Let's shelve it.
Let's shelve it until something happens.
But in the next election, my brother, I don't know how you feel, D, but in the next election, are they winning or are they losing?
Huh? Are they winning?
In the next election, they're
winning. Winning.
Is that because I mean, are they winning fairly or are they winning? Are they winning fairly or are they going to rig it?
Who talked about fair now? What's wrong with you?
Well, I'm in the position right now that
they can win fair and square, but then they won't leave the unfair measures to be on the side. They will still implement unfair measures, but they have a good chance of winning very fairly. I think Marcie did a whole clean argument on that. That has got nothing to do with calling people names.
I'm not disputing that.
They will win fairly, but then they will make sure that their mechanisms for unfair measurements of winning are still in place. I think so. No, that's what I think. I'm just going to make sure that my councillor and MP are correct, but otherwise it's late for other people.
Vote advocate, my Mount Pleasant constituency. Brother D, thank you very much, my brother.
No, good to talk to you guys as usual.
All right, so that's Brother D.
Marvin's back.
Okay, so
let's talk to Marvin and get over that.
Let's get a lady on. You know, let's just gender balance. You know.
Oh no, we women don't need your sympathy, guys. We can't.
It's that patriarchal bullshit, baby.
Yeah, it's that patriarchal bullshit. Like we can get things on merit.
You know, Chef Bay goes on her knees and gives me water to wash my hands.
I do, because I love you.
Why, baby?
I love you. I do it for you because I love you, not because you expect me to do it. Some days I make you sit on the table. I make you pray. I make you do a lot of things.
She makes me pray.
See?
That's because I love you, baby.
See? It's not feminist bullshit. I are not yet the president. Pastor E is president. Not yet. Not yet. Okay, it's late for...
Is Bree there yet? No, she's not there. Bree, we tried to add you. My sister, it failed. My brother Tony, we're trying to add you now. How did Mugabe let go of power?
You was forced! You want to skip, check, reverse, close. No,
skip, check, reverse, close.
Jonathan Moyo and his cabal did not see that one coming. Okay, that one declined our call. Let's go to Marvin. I've been saying.
Let's go, Marvin. I tried to add you, Bree. It's not answering. Let's ask Marvin. Marvin walked away from his
Wi-Fi zone. Well done.
Now you heard them.
What's up?
Stop moving away from the Wi-Fi zone.
That's not up, man.
Yo, let me tell you something. Yeah, it's England, yeah, and there's no internet. Imagine that. There's no network. Ridiculous.
Talk to him. What are your feelings right now, homie?
First of all, congratulations for your
My God, he's walked away too far again.
First billionaire that we know.
For being a billionaire and a pizza.
Yep.
That we know. Billionaire. Strive. You don't know? It's all over the news. Strive is the first billionaire.
Nigga, I gave Strive $12.33 this whole week.
So Strive, we got a billionaire. Wow, we got a billionaire, guys. Congratulations.
That we know of.
Our president's been a billionaire.
Our president's a billionaire. Our vice president's a billionaire, by the way.
See, I like this guy.
But anyway,
it's okay.
Let's go.
Let's talk. There's this guy that was talking about there's what democracy. Nika, shut the front door. There's no democracy in the world. Everybody knows that. Don't talk nonsense. Don't go online and start talking nonsense. A man's not hot. There's no democracy. You would never find democracy anywhere, no matter what.
Right.
Okay. That's why.
We agree.
Johnson, hey, I'm going to shoot that. Hey, what? Come on.
He was crying.
Yeah? How many people by row on street? Exactly. And now not about I don't feel sorry for that guy, man. I don't feel sorry for that guy. The moment that he started talking, the TV off, bro. In fact, I smashed it. I don't care. Insurance will take care of that. I don't care about what he's got to say. I don't care about what he's got. I don't feel sorry for that guy. Now, let's talk about what's going on in Zimbabwe. You guys are right. Things right now, yeah. Don't underestimate these guys. Don't underestimate this guy. It's a plan. You're right, they are protecting their interests, Kudara. I shall not speak much. Maybe Lumumba, that's your problem.
He's gone, that one.
I was going to headquarters. You. I hold you accountable for Lumumba going.
Right.
You knew, bro.
You're right.
Now he's gone.
I still argue that losing Lumumba wasn't a big loss, but okay.
It wasn't necessary to lose him.
It wasn't necessary, but then he can go. I mean, we do need a plausible fight. I wasn't going to fight psychology, Mazu. So that was nonsense. But anyway, moving along.
Yeah, but
and then Lumumba, I really don't care.
Okay, all right, but as Lumumba's friend, yeah, I know how dangerous that boy is mentally. Trust me. Don't underestimate.
We all know.
Yeah, he's got keys to so many doors.
But listen, if he's watching, I want you to tell him and look me straight in the eyes. I want him to tell you how dangerous I am.
No. Trust me. Yeah?
Yes.
You are dangerous, but she's made you soft. She's made you soft.
Listen, my wife is smarter than me. She's so smart.
I think let's not make the mistake that when it's time to get to work, we don't look this nice. We don't look close to. So we can. So don't be that.
She's toned you down. You're like a pit. You're like a pit. Now she don't be like that. Okay, just calm, breathe. Some juice.
My gosh, I think I've lost Mark.
Yeah, we couldn't hear anything. Okay.
Oh gosh, I can still hear him.
Yeah, because it's like
Did you see it?
That's done now.
Oh shit.
All right.
Okay, so we got one more caller before we go. We've tried everybody else, and no one else was available, right? Okay, Tony, Bree, if you're still there, we'll try you again. We're talking about the Jonathan Moyo. My Dylan is on the call.
Yeah, let's talk to my Dylan.
Apparently, you made me soft, man.
Nah, nigga, you ain't soft for she.
These niggas don't know how long you've been around, do we? We just went public.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Nice to see your wife. I've never seen her before. Hi, darling.
Hi, how are you?
Jonathan Moyo. How dare you? Oh my God. If anybody is related to Jonathan Moyo, you need to disown him because he might actually tell people, you know, I listened to that hard talk. Oh, you know, I feel sorry for him.
Sad.
That's all I can say. You know what? In fact, let's leave him. Whatever it is, ngatim siye akadaro. Ngatim siye because tikamudzosa kunyika ka anounza kupenga kwake kwese. Let him go nema mepo ake. That man lied so blatantly. He's totally, and of all the people that he's still praising, Grace. He's even still calling her Dr. Grace. Anonzi Grace Mugabe. Full stop. For him to actually be interviewed internationally and say the things that he said. Sorry, Maningi. I do, seriously. You know, I listened to this again. You know, I actually had to listen to it again because I forgot probably because they wanted so I forgot maybe in what he was saying. Then I decided to actually have a cup of tea and sit properly and listen. Please, let's get him to say my
Dylan. I would love you to have a listen to George Charamba's response to him. If we pinned the comment on this chat here,
okay.
Have a listen. Not only will it shock you, but
dismissive,
but it will shock you in some of the things he said. Thank you so much for joining us. We were also gobsmacked, but Chef definitely believes that he had some points, even though he's an asshole, but she thinks he has some points. I think he's an asshole at no point, but thank you very much. You are with me.
Well, to me, I actually think, as of now, since he's not, I think he's non-existent right now. Whatever it is he's doing, wherever it is he's going, let him just go and hide further down there. Because even if we get him, we're not going to get the 2 billion that he whatever it is money that we're looking for. We're not going to get
that we can get back if we want.
Some matter, don't worry.
Happened to
has disappeared. She'll be watching, then she stops watching.
Oh, okay.
Or something.
Maybe she's at work.
Maybe she's at work. We'll try to add one more person. Okay, this person is not adding. Can we please sum up, Mommy? Let's sum up. You can start.
No, why? So that you can cover me. I'm joking. But I think I did my summaries when we were doing our video chat.
Okay, let's quickly go into this. Development or democracy?
There's no quickly in this one. Next live video. Next live video.
Okay, guys. So let's join us next time. We want to talk about: is it okay for us to be ruled by a dictatorship?
That is developmental
and making us go forward, or would you rather be ruled by a democracy?
And we're still settling in the same place.
In the same place.
And also,
what do we want?
Yeah. Well, let's also be very careful that we're being absolute. It's very possible that democracy can bring about development, but we haven't had those examples, so far we'll leave it alone. We'll leave it alone. But then in our next live video, but in as far as Jonathan Moyo is in this home, we do not like him, and if he comes back to Zimbabwe, put a bullet. We don't mind. We'll let that one pass. We won't even take you to any courts to
We'll say what bullet.
We'll say what bullet. We didn't see nothing. You know, we were happy with that one. But
God, development.
Yeah. And also,
Zimbabwe are they choosing development over democracy?
Yes, because it's useless. When we can't eat, it's useless, right?
Okay, so also, that one. We'll do that
let's be very wary of how ZANU-PF is reforming itself quietly, and like Marcie said, let us be able to create the alternative. They will not create an alternative for us who are not in ZANU-PF. They might recruit some of us into ZANU-PF, and we won't say no to things, order. I keep saying this: Zimbabweans love order, love safety nets, love nice things that don't cause harm to their bodies. And if you offer us that, we will definitely do that. So stop calling us to go to the streets and march. As long as the army doesn't protect us too much, we will not march. We only go if the army is on the same side for us marching. With elections coming sooner, thanks to George Charamba saying they might come on the August 2018 or July 2018, but if they do come sooner, Nelson Chamisa, usabate chinu, you destroy your political career. Don't do it. Let Ncube Omzuri take it. You still have a chance 2023, and you have better contenders. I don't see Mnangagwa being alive in 2023 strictly because he eats a lot of meat. He was not a vegetarian like Robert. He won't last that long. Okay? Sorry, Piloza, we have just closed it down. We'll talk to you in the next live video. What are you saying, Baba?
What I'm saying is, ladies and gentlemen, we all watched the Jonathan Moyo video. He's an asshole. my wife's persuasive arguments have made me see the light in the sense that even an asshole sometimes can fart the right things. He's correct in the sense that let's not rejoice over unconstitutional actions that bring about the things that we want. Because people like us, Zimbabweans, all of us, suffered under the hands of government that the constitution. And we now need to start holding our government to higher esteem. We need to start holding our people and the people who are in charge of us to higher standards. People who have bought their land and start being unconstitutional about things. So let's not be selective about our constitutionalism as Zimbabweans. Let's build the democracy that we want as Zimbabweans. And that starts with us refusing breaking the constitution so that we get what we want. Thank you very much for joining us, everybody. We really appreciate everyone who joined in, chimed in. Thank you, my sister Marcie, original Tea Party member.
Sleeping with the Enemy is going to come back
next week, I think?
No, 1st of February. We need to plot it properly.
Sleeping with the Enemy comes back 1st of February. Our next live with my beautiful is about development or democracy. I would love a lot of y'all to join us, please. And let's talk about that, because it looks like on the streets of Zimbabwe right now, people are happy to have a junta as long as they get jobs and food. And I think that, personally, I think that's madness, but this may be madness with points. Correct?
Yeah. Bye, B. Sleep well. Now you can go to bed.
If you want to see our day-to-day shenanigans, go to Snapchat. Go to our Snapchat.